All right, Cece, go ahead. No kidding. How's it going? How's it going? Yeah, like you were saying, rough day, rough Monday. Yeah, it's rough day for me too.
Was it
Ah,
Ron, how's yours? Like, was it just shitty for everyone? Like,
Yeah, it
I don't.
was. Today was off. Today was an
Damn,
off day.
what the hell? Like,
I don't know what it
I
was about
don't
today.
know. Like, I almost was like, I didn't fucking put on my calendar that it was gonna be a shitty day today. Like, what the heck? And
Oh, wow.
I
It's okay.
mean,
I don't know. You could do that. Okay.
I know.
I'll put that for my whole March.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like Mondays suck in general, but today of all days, it's like this was one for the books. Um, yeah, but I mean, I'm not eating on the show because I just like shoved tacos in my face.
Wow.
So I think I'm on the up and up on making it a better Monday now that I'm here talking to you guys, you fine folks.
Well, I guess we're on a timer now because tacos are dangerous.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Eat. Yeah, I don't mind. Like,
If I just turn off my mic and my
Munch.
camera, you know what happened. No, I'm kidding. I managed to eat 4 tacos in 10 minutes. So
4 tacos. Holy man.
I'm gonna have some regrets.
I thought I smelled
Uh,
cabbage.
he's
that's my new sound effect, by the way. I thought I smelled cabbage. Nah, you're good. You're good. Cece, if you need to eat or if you want to eat, go ahead.
no, I'm done. Those tacos are done. There's nothing to spare.
Jesus.
No chance.
Oh, look at this guy. This is like what I wanted to talk about tonight. Jose
Oh
has
yeah.
been.
You're dangerous.
Sorry. I keep
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
interrupting you. I didn't finish your unboxing, but which has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the fact that it was like midnight on a work day when I was watching it. But those look fantastic,
Hmm.
and I'm not
Right?
familiar with them at all.
That's scary because if you're not like, stay away. Like, stay away right now because I feel like everyone's jumping on them right now. Jose and some other guys have been on it way before I have, but they're really nice when they're grouped together. And I'm only collecting the busts for now, and they have like the
Mhm.
whole like full size ones, and those full size ones they look amazing. But
Now,
they're keeping their value.
are they 1/6 scale?
Well, I think they're supposed to be 1/6 scale, but Jose does mention like a couple of times like they're a little bit bigger, so they're like 1/7 scale, 1/8 scale
Oh, okay.
around there.
I
But
think
they're still
the
small. They're still small.
I don't know if I showed you guys this. I think this is no. I'm sorry. This can't be 1/7. Then these look larger. These are the
Um,
Kotopedia Ralph
Yeah.
McQuarrie concept. So this is
I
like
think
Luke's circular.
I think those are the same size actually, but like they're museum posts, so they're not dynamic like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, maybe they are the same size.
What's up, Sean?
Hey
You had a
guys,
Monday
how's it
too?
going? Yeah,
We were just talking about our Mondays, kind of trying to keep it PG-13 right now, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's I mean, my Monday was good. You know, coming off of spring break for a teacher, and then going back on a Monday is pretty tough. But I run the after school program at my school, and I had two parents pick up after 5:45, and I was just like, ugh. It was almost 6 o'clock by the time they picked up. So,
So you slash their tires, or
oh
you
yeah, you
tell their
know,
kids. Oh,
you know, I give them an A minus.
Wow.
Because anything lower than that, then there'll be hell to pay, and it'd be my fault.
For schools, do you charge if they pick up late?
No, it's like a one-time payment kind of thing for them,
Um,
and then like we have documentation. Like if there's so many late pickups, then it gets documented. After so many, they get removed, stuff like that.
got it. Okay.
yeah.
Same with the write-ups. It's like I think they get 3 write-ups, and then they're done.
Have you ever smacked a child?
We're still live. We're still live. We're still live.
Sean, don't answer that.
No, I'm not answering that question.
Plead the fifth, please.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
could just, yeah. If I was the phys ed teacher, it'd be if you could dodge a wrench, you can dodge a
You
ball.
dodge a ball. Hey, you know what though? There's been some time. So I'm going on 10 years almost
Wow.
like January next year. I'll be 10 years, and I've nailed some kids with a dodgeball in the face.
Like you look at your
One
dodgeball, you're
time,
like,
one
it's
time it
legal.
was this. One time it was this kid that I actually really liked. Like it was like she was a great student, and it slipped out of my hand, and I hit her instead of the person I was trying to hit.
I'm just trying to understand how the teacher's playing dodgeball, but that's cool.
Ah.
Well, you know what? Like
Fair. It's
We don't
fair.
play dodgeball in my classroom. This was a long time ago.
it's probably outlawed. Yeah, these kids don't
Yeah, yeah.
understand.
It's sad.
There's a list of PE games that we're told we should not play, and dodgeball's on one is on that list.
You hate to hear it. That's why everyone's a mess
Kickball,
nowadays.
kickball's another.
I don't know what this game was called, but there was like these like little boards you used to sit on with wheels. Put your hands
Yes.
around the boards,
warmers?
and then I think what was that, bench warmer? No, there was wheels on them, and you would kick each other,
Yeah.
so you got to go run.
They're
Or,
like scooters.
yeah, but on the floor. And then people started crying that they hurt their fingers or they started hurting their backs. And I was like, that's the whole point, man. Like, keep your hands inside that little safe
The little
area.
hole, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have these big circular scooters, and they have handles on the outside, but the kids want to hold it on the outside. I go, put your hands on the inside,
Yeah.
and you'll be okay. And then you get the one kid, I smashed my finger, right? And I go, your hands were on the outside.
Wow. Well, I had a question for today for you guys. Like, I feel like this one's going to be, there's layers to it, I think, and there's also tears behind this one. But what about collecting makes you guys happy? Like, for me, like you could like layer this one up, like buying or like hunting the collectible that you're looking for, unboxing it, having it next to the rest of your line, or just like buying a limited edition one. Like, what about collecting makes you guys happy?
I think for me personally, the hunt,
Yeah.
and then finally receiving it is that sense of accomplishment, especially at a deal. You love the deal,
Yeah.
but I think that when you finally unbox it, put it together, and can display it, that's really what makes me happy.
I think for me, it's the hunt for sure. Because like once I have it, I still appreciate it. I still love it, but it's like, okay, it's in the collection. You know, I think of like Indiana Jones or something like that, or like National Treasure, right? And it's always about the hunt. And then once they figured it out, they're like, okay, it's like a means to an end almost.
Yep.
I would agree. Like, I don't think, I will say, as far as the hunt goes, it's not my favorite thing. Like, how do I say this? Maybe I'm just lucky and I don't have to hunt for things that much. I mean, it's always satisfying when I get something in, or I find something and I get it in that I've wanted for years. Like those, it's an overused word, but I will say grails. Like, I have a few prints that, like, I remember when I got them or when I bought them, and I remember, because they're limited or hard to find, that those kind of stick out in my mind as like a accomplishment when I got them. But I also don't want that to be one of the main things that makes me happy about collecting, because I think that's where it gets a little dangerous, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm only happy when I'm looking for something. It's like, no, I like to also be satisfied when I have things. So I think for me, I'm such an erotic planner, and I love curating. And so for me, it's almost like I don't really think I collect lines per se. It's more of like, hey, actually, I recently just found, I think I mentioned this last one, I apologize, but I recently found a list I'd made a few years ago of like, I want these Star Wars helmets, I want these props, I want these art prints. And I'm like almost done with that list, which is like exciting, but also kind of scary, because it's like, oh God, like what happens after I'm done with the list? Because we're never finished. But it's one of those, if I'm done with the lists and I'm also out of space, it's like, what happens next? Do I sell things to get other things? So for me, I think it's just getting it in and seeing it where I've always wanted to see it, or how I always wanted to display it. I feel like it's an accomplishment. And I think that's the satisfaction I get. Though I will say, as we're talking about things that were hard to find, I have a print that's next to me that was kind of hard to find. And normally I don't like just showing off random stuff I have, but it's right here. So it's my Ant-Man and the Wasp art prints.
What is
Wow.
this?
Are you
So Matt
serious?
Ferguson did these.
I tried to zoom in for you, John, but it's not working.
Is that actually like a mini print?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I want to like obviously get them framed and get them matted up because I've seen people who have like a big wall of like Marvel prints and then they have these which are like to scale to Ant-Man. So it's like if they took an art print and just like shrunk it, this is what the size would
You
be.
just have to use toothpicks to frame that thing.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm like, if I take this to my people, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" So that might be a custom project for me.
I think
Was
you're
that
unique still, Sean.
You need to find a little Ant Man, and have him hold it.
Oh, like hold it like a screen.
Yeah.
That'd be
Ooh,
so
the Hot Toy figure or
That would
something.
be cool.
That'd be pretty
The
cool.
Hot Toy is
I
really
have-
cool.
I'm like, do I have it next to me? No, I have the I think it was King Arts. So they're a Marvel prop company that isn't licensed in the United States. I think they're still a thing. But some of their props are like not grails, but they go for a lot of money now because they don't make them anymore. But they did one where it was Ant-Man and it's him like running on a bullet and it's like to scale, like very like the bullets to scale. I think it's like a 9mm. And so I have that with my like Spider-Man stuff and my Black Widow stuff, almost like my insect superhero section.
Nice.
Wow.
That's sweet.
Well, I don't know if I want to break this. I'm going to break this one down for you guys. For me, like my first piece was the the Bowen Juggernaut. That's my first statue ever. I thought $400 was expensive for like a freaking statue. I was like, one and done. Like I'll be happy with this one, and I'll never tell anybody how much I spent on this 1/6 scale Juggernaut, and I'll keep it to myself. I'll put it in the corner. Be like, it has Stan Lee's autograph on it. So I was like, huge plus right there. Never again. And then, of course, then you find out like there's Facebook groups, and then you jump on those Facebook groups, and you're like, oh crap, there's like a whole line there. Like, but then I found Thanos on Throne, and like I was like, man, like my luck keeps like happening, and then I find Superman Hush, and I'm like, man, this like luck is happening. This is a good thing. I get that high, like Eddie talks about. It's like a drug almost because you get it. You're like, oh my god, I got it. But I've been thinking about this question lately because I have all my grails. I have my Thanos, my Juggernaut, my Superman, and now my Silver Surfer. And I don't know if I'm having fun anymore or if I like if this makes me happy or whatever. But then I started collecting Bowens. Bowens, like they're so tiny, they're like very comic accurate, and I've been like feeding this whole Bowen smaller scale like little thirst or hunger I've been having. And I think like collecting these smaller ones is making me happier than collecting these big 1/3 quarter scale ones. And I feel like it's reversed from like when I started collecting to when
When you first started.
yeah.
Do you think that's because of a lack of the representation of the characters that you want?
No, no. I don't think it's that. I think it's more of like cost, space, and also like I could fit them all together in like literally a spot where a quarter scale would be at.
Yeah.
It's like I get all 6 of them in one little spot, and I could have all representation right there. I was talking to Brenton about this. He loves Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and he
Oh,
has
I
like
know.
and he like what's the Sinister Six?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's like, I think I'm gonna go after that line, but XM Studios makes that line, and you're gonna need like a whole wall for all of those, And I showed him like, hey man, I can fit all of mine in like my hand right here, the little bust I got. I was like, look at that, like it's insane.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's what's making me happy right now. I feel like this answer varies and changes over time because like I said, I got the pieces I've always wanted. They're here behind me, and like I should really be happy, right? I shouldn't be collecting anymore. Like I got my grails. I should be happy with what I got, but it keeps like the want keeps keeps coming up.
Well, I think too that what's probably happening, because I could compare your relationship with the Bowens to how I feel about the Batman black and white statues. Those were my first ever statues. And I think they're like 1/10 technically. Um, I think I have a handful, like maybe 4 or 5. But I'll never forget, my first one was the Mike Mignola, which was the one that I was like hunting for the longest time. And like you talked about with the your first Bowen statue, where you're like, damn, I better not tell anyone I spent this much. That was a lot of money for me back then to get it, but it's still one of my favorite things I own. Um, and I've seen people posting that they're selling them, or it's just kind of like igniting that spark where I'm like, I could fit a few more, I think, in my collection if I wanted to. But I think that it also sparks that nostalgia where it's like you get just excited about them today as you did for me. Gosh, that was, I can't math, 2015. So I mean that's
Jesus, a
almost,
lifetime ago.
yeah. So um, I think sometimes in collecting you need that kind of inspiration. It's funny. I think I told Mike Costa this, and at least he thought it was funny. Is he told me he was going to sell something, and he since has put it up for sale, and he was asking me like how I thought about it if he should sell it, and I was like, I think it's almost like a relationship where you just have to remind yourself why you got it in the first place, and then you'll appreciate it and not want to get rid of it. And he was like, I don't know, I always think my wife is hot. And I'm like, well, there's that too. So I'm like, if you
Yeah.
fell out of love with it, you fell out of love with it, go ahead and sell it. But so yeah, I think the Batman black and whites make me feel nostalgic. And I still love them for all the reasons I loved them then. In that you can get representations of different artists you appreciate on a smaller scale, which the Bowens, it sounds like it's that, and also that they're comic accurate, and you can't exactly rely on some of these bigger companies to do the same. Um, so I think some people would call it regression, where it's like you're going back to collecting something you used to collect, but um, no, I think it's just revisiting something that you've always appreciated.
You know,
Uh,
I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards for the longest time, and me and my friends kind of swore off it. We're like, no, we're not going to do it anymore. It's a waste of money, stuff like that. And then every now and then we find ourselves like, man, I really want to pick up a pack. You know,
maybe I'll find that, the super rare one that
yeah,
I was missing. It's gonna be here.
yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
But and it was the same with like the Pokemon cards too. Like you kind of get back into it, and I mean it's fun though. And like for me right now, I'm having a lot of fun with the Power Ranger stuff. I'm a huge Marvel fan, as you could tell all around back here. But right now it's fun, but it's not as fun as collecting the Power Rangers for me, or even just buying a random figure that I could just mess with. You know, that's where I'm having a lot of happiness right now. Is just finding a fun figure that I can pose and take pictures of, and just kind of mess around with it.
It's funny. It's like I try to talk to my coworkers about this, and like their first question is always like, "Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun, but like, I guess I need to ask, what's the price on them? You're like gonna collect a bunch of them, right?" And I was like, "Don't worry about that. I'm just trying to like explain to you like where I'm going through right now." And he goes like, "But what's the price? Like that's important." I was like, "Don't worry about it." Like, so they take it like I love asking people outside the hobby because they give you a whole different perspective on it. But the number one thing is always, like I said, the cost. They always look at that, which is important. We're all addicts. We don't care, But like, I don't know.
People don't
Having like,
understand.
they
Yeah.
don't understand exactly. Yeah.
Instead of going to a club on a Friday, well, you should always go to the club on the Friday.
I was
Night.
gonna say,
Instead of going to like an actual club like back in the day and spending $400 on alcohol, rather put it towards a flipping hot toy or a statue and
hey
have
man,
something
a
to show
drink
for it.
now costs like $18 at the
I don't
club.
even know.
Like,
I don't know. That wasn't my thing.
it's insane
Well,
right now.
it's funny you mentioned price. So um, I bought a Darth Vader helmet, a Novos Darth Vader helmet from Steve with Rogue One 6. This was like, it might have been January of last year, so over a year ago. And he's like 40 minutes from me. I just hadn't picked it up. And then a mistake happened with a factory. I don't know if I want to say the company. I think we've said it before on the show, but with a custom company, when I bought a Darth Vader's tie, like a model of it, and the factory screwed up and sent it to Steve, Rogue One 6 Steve. And it was so weird because like there's no clear answers to how the factory ended up doing that, but also like what are the odds? Like, are we the only two people in the state of Colorado who bought it and we happen to know each other? Like, very strange. So I finally went over to his house. He invited me over for dinner with his family on Friday, and I was sitting between like him and his wife, and he was talking about a statue he sold and how much like he was like, I got a great deal on that statue. I sold that thing like at a huge profit. And I was like, yeah, I think you told me you got like, what was it, like $300 for that statue, that quarter scale statue? And I'm like winking at him, and he's like, I appreciate you. Cause I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to say numbers in front of his wife. I know he would have kicked me out at that point. And be like, oh yeah, you got like 3,000 for that statue and you bought it for one. Like, no, I wasn't going to say that. But yeah, I thought that was funny. It's like, no, we don't talk prices in this household, please. Okay, thanks.
Wow.
What are you saying, John?
No, I was saying, yeah. I've people who do that, who don't talk, who keep it separate. I run everything. I don't know how bad it is, but I run everything through the wife. Like,
Oh yeah.
everything.
Yep.
So really quick for you, John. Like, when is like I don't think the hunt is ever over, because like I've been collecting. The hunt just gets worse because there's more scales, there's more companies, there's newer things coming out.
Yeah.
But then those deals that come out, like, God.
The deals are dangerous. The deals are dangerous, and I don't think you ever stop as a collector. I think life happens, and you may have to take a pause and look at other priorities in life. But I think as a collector, you never stop. You pick it back up at some other point, whether it's a comic book, whether it's a statue, whether it's a figure. At some point, you'll pick it back up.
Arch says, I only tell my wife when to get caught.
Wow.
Man.
Which is every statue.
Yeah, man. But like, I don't know. Like, I keep saying, like, I keep asking people at work about this. Like, they just go back to the price thing. But there's like one person that was like, as long as it doesn't break the bank, just keep doing what you're doing. Like, you gotta have other hobbies too. It's like, I love photography, like hiking and everything. But man, this one's like the one where my wallet is just like, stop. Go outside, it's free. But yeah, like this one, I feel like this one changes for everybody all the time. Talking to like Emil Carfong and Franco Carlissimo, it came up. Those are like the sculptors for like some of the statues that we have. But it came up to where like they were mentioning people, when they collect, they forget that, you know, to appreciate what you already have. Like, I have this Superman hush, like, take a deeper dive into it. Like, admire the base for a day, you know, think about what's going on with the base, go on to like the, you know, rest of the whole sculpture, like the cape and everything. And I was like,
That's what retirement's for, Steve.
yeah, but
You build the collection so when you retire. No, I'm talking about like retire. You build the collection so when you retire, you could just sit there in your rocking chair and be like, oh, yo, Superman.
bring up little Johnny and go like, hey,
I remember that. Yeah.
you know how I got this guy right here?
You know what I had to do?
Tell you a
Yeah.
story.
Back in the day, you know.
Would you say, CC, like, I sold plasma to get this guy right here?
Yes. Yeah. What was I was like, what was that joke? So you told me you want to get something, and I was like, start selling your plasma now. And then I told you that I was like, I need to stop spending money because I'm going to Star Wars Celebration in a few weeks. Also, me buys a new Star Wars helmet. Like, Friday I couldn't sleep because I was stressed about the trip, just taking time off work and stuff like that. And it was like 3:00 in the morning, and so I just checked my phone, and someone in the UK had posted a helmet, like a concept helmet that was beautifully painted, and I was like, oh. I think it would have been gone if it wasn't 3:00 in the morning when I saw it, and I showed pictures of it to Rogue One 6 Steve, and he was like, I didn't see that. When was that posted? And I'm like, 3 o'clock in the morning, bro, and I wasn't sleeping well. So like I just rolled over and bought it. Um, yeah, I think I totally agree, and I think it goes with what we talked about before, where I think I'm one of those people that's gearing up for a pause because I have so much stuff that's on the horizon that I just need to get in. It's like I almost can't get excited about getting other things until I get some of those bigger items in to know just what my collection's going to look like at the end of all of this, if that makes sense. Like I have too much stuff in
Yeah.
the air that I'm just waiting to. It's like juggling where all the balls are in the air and you're just waiting to like grab something. That's basically how I feel right now. And I totally agree with you. It's funny, and also seeing Rogue 160's collection really helped because he has some great pieces, some huge pieces. And one of the things I have that I really love is like a concept helmet that we did as an exclusive with RS. It looked small. It looked like Ant-Man poster small in his collection compared to everything else he has. And I was like, that thing looks ginormous in my apartment. Like it's a showstopper. Like it takes up a lot of space, and it's what I look at as soon as I walk into the room. So I think that really helped me appreciate what I have. Seeing someone else's collection and seeing where my eye lands. I think with mine, it's like I'm really happy with what I have, and I'm pretty stubborn in that I like what I like, and I tend to not fall out of love like easily when it comes to what I have. But yeah, I think especially nowadays with how the world's going with shipping and inflation, I think that takes some of the happiness and fun out of the hobby. So I almost think like almost like No Shave November, maybe like the entire community could just take like a maybe not today March or something, and like after April pause for April. I don't know, just
They'll
chill.
kick you right out.
Chill with
They'll
what?
kick-
Buying?
I think so.
Why?
I need to chill with buying.
Oh,
because-
you, yeah. Oh, you personally, okay.
Yeah, like I don't mean like every single person needs to stop buying stuff. Absolutely not.
Live life. Life's too short to be worrying about this and that, and you got to worry within reason, but you got to enjoy life too. It's not.
John is hunting right now as we speak. Look at him. He's like
So
searching
true.
through.
I've pre-ordered.
This guy's
Right on the
dangerous.
Yeah.
I hate
No,
you.
but we talked about we talked about that last week on Tuesday. How do we what was it? I had it right here.
How do we,
press
pause?
yeah, do we press the pause button now because there's like a billion things coming out?
No, you don't push the damn pause button.
There was no answer. Like I rewatched. There was 3 hours of us talking. There was no answer. People were like, "Oh, I got this coming. I got this going. Oh, I got a deal on this." And I was like, "Are you guys listening?" There's like a prompt right there to like for the question, and you guys are talking about what's coming next.
Well, you shouldn't tell people that because now no one's gonna go back and watch the 3 hours because you just told them like, "Hey, you're gonna watch the whole thing," and like, there's no answer.
There's no
There's
answer
no
at
like
the end.
the answer to life is
Spoiler
42.
alert.
Yeah,
And then,
answer-
like,
Don't need to see
Sideshow
that
Yoda
movie
came
now.
out, and I was like, God. Everyone's like, I'm picking that up. I'm doing that one. And I was like, wow. We're at
I
it.
mean, I think there's always a concern that like what's gonna come out that's gonna prevent you from hitting pause, or it's gonna mess up your break.
Everything.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. But I think it was Jose asked a good question. I think like, what would your collection look like if it wasn't for the community? Dude, I'd have so much money. I'd have so much money.
Yeah, but what would you do with it? It would just sit in the bank?
Cocaine.
Well, I'd probably like travel more, maybe. I don't know, but like, I just think the community is fantastic in that it brings people together, and it inspires that. Like, just basically, I think there's like a camaraderie to collecting, but also collecting is spending money. So I think that the community, like if you're trying to hit pause, the community does no one any favors. Everyone's an enabler when you're part of a community.
Everyone tags you on stuff. Everyone sends you, hey, did
Yeah,
you?
everyone tags me.
this-
Funny.
this?"
Number one tagger here.
You're not the one talking about it. You're the one. Look at you. You're happy. Look at that smile. I've never seen such a
Shut.
Or like because I had I think I mentioned this. I had this happen recently. I guess I mentioned wanting to get something, and so someone just cold messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, I have that thing," and I'm like, "God damn it!" Like now things find me instead
They
of me
lied.
hunting for
It's
things.
perfect. It's just it's beautiful.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know about that, but
Think about it. Instead of putting the $100 to your savings account or 1,000, it's on a shelf. If you need the money,
uh
you could just sell it. It's fine. Think of it like that.
A lot of times though, when you need that extra money, you kind of need it like right then and there. It takes a minute to, depending on what it is, it takes a minute to
Yeah,
sell.
you just gotta buy nice and low ES, and you're set.
this guy's funny. Back in video is always funny. He says, "I keep telling myself I need to learn sculpting and painting, save some money."
Back Kid is an awesome guy. Really good guy.
Brendan says it always comes
Yeah.
when you don't have the money.
It's true.
I
That's
hate
true.
that.
man,
Or when you're
I
not looking for it, or when you say, "I'm going to press the pause button," because CC did have a point, and then I stay up till
Rail
3 in the
in the
morning, and
face.
you're like, "Crap." Yeah.
yeah.
If you don't have the funds available, then yeah, maybe take a step back.
Well, and I think I said this last show too. Sorry, I feel like I keep talking. I think it's just, I mean, I talk too much anyway, but then the day I had, so I think things have a way of working itself out. I'm not into that manifesting stuff. I know I'm a millennial, but like, no, I'm not. I'm not that free spirited or what have you. But I do think I've gotten pretty lucky where if the time's not right for you, there's prints, there's props, there's things that I've been able to collect when I was in a far better position to collect it than back in the day. Like that Mike Mignola black and white. Like that was like a hardship for me to get in 2015. I don't even remember how much I spent for it. I paid for it, but now like I'd spend that much without blinking, which could be problematic as well. But you could there's ways to go backwards. I think that we almost have to like stop kidding ourselves that all of these opportunities are once in a lifetime opportunities, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Like I've run into a situation where like a grill comes up, really cheap price or really reasonable price, and I pass up on it. Then I see it like a month later, triple the price. And I was like, crap, I should have bought it then.
Yeah.
I wait 9 months, 10 months, and then boom. Like cheaper than the cheapest I've ever seen. And I'm like, just wait it out, But like a lot of us don't wait it out. That's the crazy thing, man.
It's risk.
But it's all about the hunt, right, John? You don't
It's all
care.
about
You're
the
like,
Well, so you fall into. You're right though. It's easy to fall into that trap of, oh, it's here right now. Let me just pay the extra and just get it. It's very easy to fall into that trap.
yeah. Well, Sean, what do you think?
So I was gonna ask John, and I guess you too, because CC, you said all your stuff is out in like the living room and like your living areas, right? So how often do you guys go down and appreciate y'all's collecting room, besides like streaming? Like how often do you go down? Because John, yours is a basement, right?
Yeah.
How often do you go down there just to sit there and admire?
I'm only down here when I stream right now, and it's not necessarily because I don't want to come down here. It's just more family time, right? I don't want to
Right.
kind of leave the family and just come down here by myself. But if like the wife goes out or something like that, yeah, I'll come down here and just chill a bit. It hardly happens though. So right now it's just when I'm
Hey,
streaming.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. I don't know, man. Like your question was like, how often do you admire your collection
Well, how
room?
often do you go into your? Because we're talking about spending. At least for you guys, it could be thousands. You know, you go in. How often do you go into your collection room and just appreciate what you have? We're saying to appreciate it, but how often is that something a week besides streaming?
Yeah, so I made this room into my like office slash statue room. So luckily for that, like I'm having a meeting and I'm just like I'm the only guy in the meeting with like toys behind them. They're like these always get called toys, and I was like, okay, whatever you guys want, but I need you guys in this meeting being focused. No kidding, but like, so luckily for that. But what I've been like doing a lot lately is cutting down on statues, and the way I've been doing that is setting up the lights, cleaning out the shelves, dusting all the statues, moving the statues around, like having a like whole like focus on just collecting bad guys for quarter scale, good guys um for the DC side. But like I'm like literally here 8 hours a day, you know, because I work from home. But like I move around stuff. I don't know. I appreciate like I've been appreciating it lately a lot because I'm here so often and I cut down. I think that's what helped too, cutting down on collecting, like by far. Just taking it back for a little bit. The lighting has helped a billion times over. Like I used to like these with like orange, red lights, purple lights, and I was like, it looks like a club in here. It looks pretty cool. But now giving it that museum look, it's just like I appreciate it a lot more, to be honest. Yeah, but it's never done.
Yep,
in my in
never.
my my eyes, it's like, oh man, I wish I had module cases. Oh no, that's gonna cost too much. I'll put this up. I'll do this, and yeah.
I just cleared off a space out here in this corner, on the left side, to put a new shelf in there. Cause like I want to move all of kind of like my random stuff. Like I have gargoyles and I have some other random Marvel stuff and just some NECA stuff with that doesn't really have a home right now. So like a lot of it's sitting on the floor right here, and then some of the stuff is just put off to the side. And just clearing that space out made me feel like so much better about like being prepared to like set those up and making more room for the stuff I want to make room for.
We talked about this, Sean. Like CC
Hmm.
and I mentioned, like you guys should. No, I'm sorry. You should like put those shelves on the wall. Get like a
Yeah.
vertical space going.
Hmm.
What's going on?
That was
You
my idea.
gotta get more figures in there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No, well, see, that was my issue in my old collecting room is I had too much, and then it's
Yeah.
like a lot of my stuff is posed right now, and or at least how they were in movies or the scene that I'm trying to depict, kind of like the in game and stuff. But I had more figures with a smaller space, and all they were doing is standing up tall, hands to the side, like
Oh, like
formation,
mhm.
just like a formation kind of thing, and I hated it. And I ended up getting rid of a lot of it because I was like, okay, what do I really want and what do I really want to do? And I was like, I really want to pose and I really want to try to build out scenes from some of my favorite comics and my shows and movies and stuff like that. By that time, we got this new house and gave me a whole ton more space to be able to do that. So
Gotcha.
Well, and I think you both bring up a good point where if you're not in a position, or even if you are, and you just feel like you need to appreciate what you have a little bit more, um, I'm like again, I'm big on planning. So I typically, like, as soon as I think of getting something, I have an idea of where it's going. With art prints, I do plan those, but sometimes I will say, you know what, I'll get it, and if it doesn't make the walls, it doesn't make the walls. But like, it's an art print; it's gonna go in a portfolio until I can figure that out. So it's no harm, no foul, as opposed to like a statue or a helmet where it's like I don't have the space to keep that just sitting in the box. But I do think that so for that reason, I don't rearrange my collection very often, like or rearrange it just because I'm satisfied with what it's. I typically have that plan where I'm satisfied in my head with how it's going to look. But I could see rearranging things, giving things more space, kind of consolidating things could help reinvigorate what you have. Um, but as far as like how much time I spend admiring my collection, I can't avoid it, and I don't know. I'd be hard pressed, I think, if I mean, we've also talked about how I'm pretty fortunate in that I live by myself, but I'd be pretty hard pressed, even if I didn't live alone, to be like, oh, I'm only keeping my stuff in one room.
mhm.
Just I think the art prints is something that I could see going anywhere. I can understand it's like, hey, you can't have a third scale Batman statue in the kitchen. Like that just doesn't make sense. But art prints, I think, being one of the kind of more prevalent things I collect, I think that translates pretty well to any kind of um, decor, living room, bedroom, hallway, what have you. Um, I'm leaving no stone unturned when it comes
Yeah.
to
The
that
the
to that.
the closest I get to displaying my stuff in any kind of living space that's not this room now is when I first buy a figure and my wife will tolerate it out on the bar on the counter just sitting there for about a week, and then it gets to be about the end of the week. She goes, "Okay, I think it's time to bring that upstairs."
It's fun. I just got a piece in, and I had to because I wanted to kind of do an unboxing, and the first thing was, "Oh, how long is this going to be up here? 3 weeks?" I'm like, "Wow, it's like still sitting in the box.
Love you too,
Relax."
babe.
Yeah. But only you and her get that, so that's the best part, you know. That's like a little, it's a little thing going on with you
Yeah.
guys. But like, John, how about you? Like, Sean asked me or asked us, like, how do you appreciate your, I guess, your basement, your slash man cave?
Yeah. If I ever get some time alone, of course I come down here, just turn on the lights and sit down and just literally look at the pieces and appreciate them. I'd like to do it more often, but you know, even though you don't necessarily do it every day, you still know it's down there, and you kind of
Mhm.
still know you have that space and that you can
Yep.
go relax in and stuff. So, plus you got pictures on the phone too. You know, you look at the pictures.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I almost think that like I'm very fortunate in that I can't escape my collection no matter
Yeah,
where I go. And so even if it's like something as simple as like this morning when I was getting ready and walking around, like I get to like go in every room and see every collectible that I have on a regular basis. Like I just
yeah,
can't ignore what I have. Um, but also I think your spaces probably feel a little more special, almost like your fortress of solitude because it's not it's not like a huge communal area where your whole family has full reign, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, and I do know that it's interesting trying to decide if you do have a collection room, and I say this like knowing that Chris Batman statue collectors I think had the same dilemma where it's like, do you want it to look like a museum or a place where someone can hang out and
yeah.
enjoy it? And so I will say that that's almost like something that you guys have over me, in that um, it's almost like working from home. I know with COVID and all that, there's a lot of discussions about separating work from like your home life. So it was
Mhm.
always like, hey, like don't do like office work from home in the same space where you sleep, because then it's like you can't turn that part of your brain off almost. You're
Yeah.
always in that like work mode when you're home. And I totally relate to that. With COVID going on, it was kind of difficult for me to, it's like, okay, sitting on the couch doing work on the couch, but then the second it was like 5 o'clock, you're like, oh damn, I've been working for like an hour and I was supposed to clock out an hour ago, and you can't really like disconnect. So I think with you guys, it's probably a lot easier to be in your collection, amongst your collection, and disconnect from everything else. Whereas me, it's like this is my living room. Like I have to take phone calls and work from home from this desk, like the same desk that I'm amongst my collection. So there are positives to having your own space.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even with, oh, sorry, go ahead. Sean.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, my wife, she does not collect, but she has a dedicated office downstairs, and she says that all the time. You know, she's like, "I'm here 7 days a week. I work 5 of them. I'm in that room. I step out. I'm in the house still, but it's like I can't get away." So a lot of times our weekends are, if we're doing something for the kids, we'll go do that, but then we'll go like out to eat somewhere, try to go far, you know, a little bit further away, just to kind of get her out a little bit more, because it gets stressful, you know. Like, I work at home, and then I come home and I do my homework, and then we have to take care of the kids and do this and that, so it gets stressful for her. So we have to kind of decompress her every now and then, go out to, her family lives 5 hours away, so we'll make a trip out there, and we'll go to San Marcos or something like that, our old stomping grounds for college and stuff. So
You know, we should have an episode on that, like on like, how COVID has like affected us as collectors. But like, I remember when I bought this house, like literally when we got sent home, like the contract was like finished and
Yeah.
everything. And yeah, I got a crazy deal and everything, but also they were like, we need to fast forward this because they're closing everything down. And I was like, you don't got to tell me twice. Like, I like this place, and like, if you guys want to lower down the deal, that's cool too. They did it, and I was like, cool. But then I started working from my living room, and I was like Cece, like on my couch, I was like, this is great. Like I'm helping people from home, and like a month later, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like I want to throw my laptop or workstation somewhere. And like, I don't even want to be in my house anymore. So I started going on like random hikes. But when I came back home, I was like, I don't want to go home anymore. Like it's like literally going back to work. So I was like, let me put all this stuff in one room upstairs and, lock the door. And when I'm done with work, I'm done with work. And then unfortunately, I built this room and now my office isn't in here. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. I like being in here, like with the statues behind me. I get to admire them. People make fun of them all the time in all the meetings I have. But it's I don't know. I feel like it's a good episode. That'll be a good like topic to bring up how COVID has affected everything.
For sure.
Yeah, because like man, if it wasn't for COVID, I don't think I'd ever start collecting as much as I have right now.
Oh, is that when you
Man,
started?
that's
Was it around COVID time?
Yeah, Juggernaut. The first day this comic book shop reopened, I stepped in there. I was like, I wanted to buy something because I was like, I haven't had that buying experience in for like 6 months, and I was in there. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys are open. They only had like 2 or 3 people at the time going in and out, and I had to buy something, so I bought Juggernaut.
The bowl.
I remember. Yeah,
Wow. And then you
that's how I
started getting
started.
into the sideshow pieces and all that.
I started getting into them like when I started researching them. I was like, crap, there's a ton out there,
Yeah.
And I started ordering them, and they started coming in, and yeah, that's where I got in trouble.
Well,
COVID is where I kind of started upping my collection, like kind of leveling up on it. That's where I started getting a lot of the hot toys. Right then and right around that time is when all those in-game stuff were coming out too, so that made it even better. Hot toys, statues, some more expensive figures, some SH figure arts, stuff like that. So
I think for me, COVID was also like just a real perfect storm in that I moved like right before lockdown happened, where I lived with roommates. Like I never lived alone until then, so it was kind of, I think, interesting in that we're told to like isolate ourselves and not interact with people, and I'm like, you got it, fam. Like I was like, I don't really have a choice in the matter anymore. So, um, I think that was like it was a, like I said, perfect storm in that I was living alone and I had full reign to display my collection how I wanted to. I'd been hoarding a lot of things in anticipation of that, so it felt kind of satisfying to finally be able to display like those Batman black and whites and to frame some of these art prints and get them on the walls. But also, like I wholeheartedly agree, and I think it's been touched on obviously here is that we were spending so much time at home that you had like almost I had, what, maybe I'll speak for me, I had almost like an obsessive hobby when it came to collecting, where it's like not only thinking about what I had, what I wanted, and also how it was going to look and how it was going to be displayed. I spent a lot of time thinking about that. I still spend a lot of time organizing things and looking at art prints and the hunt and the chase and like all that kind of stuff. But I think more so in 2020 because we were really stuck at home. And so, not that I think COVID also reminded me that I don't have much of a social life outside of work and home. Like I joke that like I just go home and I just go to work and that's it. But like I love going to the movies, and that went on pause. I think once the movies opened up again, I saw some older movies, which was good. By older, I mean like ones I never got a chance to see in theaters because they predated me. But yeah, I think just it gave us all an excuse to kind of. Plus, I think it was cathartic almost, if that makes sense. Like I think it's almost like I saw a meme that said, "Okay, so the snap happens with Thanos, and then they expect the world to just be like okay with that and not traumatized to hell." Okay, like that's unrealistic. And then COVID happened, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Okay, like they expect us to all be okay with it and not traumatized and like have everything go back to normal." And so I almost think that collecting for a lot of people was that kind of like coping mechanism. But I
get
could
your
be
mind off of stuff,
myself.
you know.
It's funny. Like, there's this restaurant that's down the street from me, and it's horrible. Like, they serve pho, and it's horrible. Like, there's a better place. Like, if you drive down 10 minutes, But I remember when everything started reopening, we went inside there, and then like it was like one of those things where like, you put your it was during COVID, so it was like write down what you want. They'll come pick up the receipt, and they won't seat you, but they'll like ask you to sit outside or stand outside. And they actually had seating open outside. And then like when I got the food, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, how is this amazing? This is usually horrible, you know? And my friend was like, I think it's because we haven't been out in so long and had someone else cook for us. Like, this seems amazing now. And I recently went back there. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, everything's back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The roads used to be clear, no traffic. It was great.
Man, that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
God.
That was eerily creepy, just not having traffic. And I remember there was like a bunch of like rumors about, well, actually, I think in Colorado, I don't know if we ever confirmed it, but like people were like getting pulled over and questioned as to like, hey, why are you out? Because it's like a lockdown.
Yeah.
So I was told like, hey, when you travel, keep your work ID on you.
Yeah.
Like we'll send you something to prove that like you're supposed to be
Yeah.
out and about. And I'm like, this is
crazy.
wild. But yeah, man, that was. I think that was
They
the
gave
only positive I could think of was the freaking traffic.
They gave us like essential personnel cards. Like they
Yeah.
emailed it to us. You have to print it out. And I was like, what am I doing right now? Like this is crazy times.
Hmm.
But
I remember that. Yeah.
no, go ahead.
And I remember like going to a Home Depot, looking at everyone with like at the very beginning, like looking at them with masks. I was like, look at these idiots, man. This thing is gonna last 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
they're here wearing all these masks. Like I was like, I was being American about it or something.
Yeah, but it just went like it was like gone. We were all going crazy, this and that, and then boom, one day gone. Things open up, and it's like, look, it's like it never happened.
Well,
It's-
I do think that now you can cough or sneeze and you're not going to feel like
Oh
someone's
yeah.
This dude, that was because I thought it was like twofold, where I'd like have to clear my throat or something, and I'd have people stare at me like that, and then I'd be walking out, and someone would cough near me, and I'm like,
100%. I still do that. I still do that. If COVID did anything, it made me very paranoid, and I was never worried, never thought twice about kind of stuff like that. But I'm paranoid now.
Arch says my life really hasn't changed all during COVID. I still had to drive all over the state working on fitness equipment in hospitals and rehab. For some people, it hasn't changed because like it's
Yeah.
yeah. But for me, I work in a building that holds 7,000 people. Everyone knows I'm the IT guy, so everyone knows me there. Everyone always greets me in the morning. And going to the building now, there's nobody there. It's still weird. It's still weird to me. Back Kid Video says, my office in New York City, I went to hide several states away, but went back to the city often. I was like in an apocalypse movie, empty streets and supply tents with hazmat workers. Oh, yeah. How did I forget about that? That's crazy.
I think for me, like it was basically the same, and I was actually kind of salty about it for a little bit there because I was like critical essential, so I'm a civilian, but like law enforcement, like that stuff doesn't end. So I was the idiot who's still like coming into the office when like the essential but not critical essential people were like working from home. And so the second I got the opportunity to work from home, I milked that. I was like, hey, I had like 2 years of this crap where I was the only one in the office. Like but then also it was awkward because I was in the office the whole time during COVID. And then I get people who'd walk in and they didn't know who I was. And I was like, well, who the hell are you? Like, what the heck? I've been here. Like, when did you start? Like people who were either hired during COVID or right before COVID and like instantly had to work from home. I was like, who are you mean mugging over there? Because like, I don't know who you are either. I felt very like suspicious of people for that reason. But also it could be just like the office environment, like you're saying, like where you used to have like the regulars who would know your name when you walk into the building.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it just and I don't know if we just like I think as people we weren't taking care of each other or ourselves very well during COVID. At least maybe I'm speaking for myself, but yeah, I think it I don't know if it made people selfish when it comes to collecting, but like I said, I think it was nice and I do think that as a community in general with collecting, I don't know if live streams or Facebook groups would be as big as they are now if it wasn't for COVID, if that makes sense. Because we couldn't go to Comic Cons, we couldn't have conventions. There's always been, I'm familiar with forums and some of the Facebook groups, but I do think that that sense of community really like kind of had a huge uptick because of COVID, because everyone was stuck at home. So they had more time to be on social media, I feel like.
Well, and
Yeah.
you know, I think it was an opportunity for a lot of these businesses who do create the collectibles for us and stuff to be like, you know what? We don't have to go to a con. Like, we all want to go to a con and we all want to show up those places, and you know, they want to display their stuff. But, you know, like Sideshow was starting to do their cons, and then, you know, the 112 stuff was like every so many months they would be like, okay, this is this live stream that we're going to announce everything from here to here or something like that, you know. So I think it gave them an opportunity to kind of show their stuff in house too, and then you could just watch it from your living room.
They slowed down a lot with that though, for some
Yeah,
reason.
they did.
Well, that wasn't
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, we got so addicted to watching them like every other month or every month, and it was like, what's going on?
And everyone got fat.
Yep. I'm one of those people. Yep.
It's true though. Whatever happens, now we just work it off. Everyone got fat. Well, that's the thing that drew the line there. Everyone went silent.
Yeah,
You
I
said
was like,
that. I was like,
damn it, John.
I was sorry. I was just like having like you know, the Vietnam kind of style flashbacks of all the snacks, the COVID snacks.
exactly. Fuck.
What?
Well, I
You get
worked.
that-
I don't know why I gained weight. I fucking worked, so I didn't stop. COVID didn't affect me. If anything, I got busier.
Dang. Well, you guys, we'll make that a topic for next week. I want to hear like how, like, we went over a couple of things, but that'd be in the statue world. It was a little bit easier, but I wonder how it was for art prints, fake, 112 scale stuff. I know really quick for Black Series when I was collecting that, I went inside of a Target. People went crazy over like those figures.
Yep.
You couldn't
So
find
did-
them, or people would.
Well,
Yeah,
the sports cards, you know, sports cards were crashing. You know, like you couldn't really get much from. You had to have the guy, you know, for the card, and then they started buying them all up, the Pokemon cards, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and then that goes back to like the social media stuff. You know, they were just opening packs.
Yep.
You know, like, oh, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Oh,
we got
yeah.
one. You know?
Lots of views. Whatnot was
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Comics, even with comics.
Yeah.
Comic sales spiked.
Yeah, you read this comment right here. You can't say that word anymore.
What you can.
Wait, is it like fat PHAT?
Yeah, is
That
it
was
that?
like grade
Okay,
eight.
that's
That
what
was
you
like
meant?
grade 8. That was like grade 8. The fat farm. No, you guys.
P8.
probably
It's called
don't know.
plus size.
My cooking skills got better. I was 200 pounds at the
Mine
start
did
of COVID.
too. Mine did too.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
That's funny, man. But you
Man,
guys, yeah, let's go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't know. Oh, I was gonna say on the cooking side of it, I made last night. I made this Cajun chicken pasta, basically the same thing from Chili's, but I killed it. Shrimp, lobster, and pan fried chicken. Oh, it was so good.
That's my point. That's exactly my point.
Well, I think that'd be a great topic for next week. I feel like we could go on like 2 hours on that one. But John, you guys got anything left to say on this one?
With what? Refreshments. I don't know. Oh, about the like.
That's the question.
No, not collecting. Makes you happy. We were talking about how. When were we talking about the? We were just talking about he was talking about the cards, the sports cards, and how it came, how they started selling out, and then I mentioned the comics and everything. No,
We're gonna save that for next week. Like that was
there's too
during
many
COVID.
rules, casual. There's too many rules. Save it for next week. Like, okay,
Cece, would you say you're a millennial, right? I've always wanted to be labeled as a boomer because millennials seem to like have more rules. The boomers seem to have like no rules. So
no rules.
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
too many
it's,
rules nowadays.
It's funny. I make a lot of references to boomers because the demographics in my office are boomers, like the 50 somethings, and then like
True
the
boomers.
30 somethings, and there's like maybe like 2 or 3 like 40 somethings. But yeah, like today at work, I left my like bootleg AirPods in a coat pocket, and so I went to a coworker and was like, "Hey, does anyone have any like wired headphones I can borrow? Okay, thanks." And like these, like I call them the boomer style, like those as opposed to like AirPods. And one of my coworkers happened to have a pair, but I just felt like there's a comedian I love named John Mulaney, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm always that person who's like, does anyone have an Android charger?" And he just was so weird asking. And I'm like, does anyone have any like boomer style headphones? Because I left my bootleg AirPods at home. Okay, thanks.
I put one of those headphones on the other week, like with the wires. And I'm just like, how did they do this? Like, I keep getting trapped in here, like wrapping myself up. I was like, oh my god.
I don't know if it's like I'm an old soul. I only just got like again like the bootleg $20 Amazon AirPods like a few months ago, and I'm like, why did it take so long? It's mostly the calls, just like having phone calls and being able to walk around and do things around the house while on the phone is incredible. But yeah, I'm like, I've been missing out this whole time. That's insane. But I did have someone. My part-time job is in an airport, and this pilot was really funny. And there's a song that was playing over the intercom, and he made a Tony Danza reference. And I just kind of made a face, and he was like, "Come on, the song Tony Danza." I'm like, "I know who Tony Danza is. I just don't know the references like between Tony Danza and the song." And he was like, "Oh, come on, you're like late 30s."
Wow.
And I was like, late 30s? Okay. Mm-hmm. Huh. And he was like, what are you not, what are we talking about? Oh no. And I was like, I'll be 32 this year. 32. He literally like hugged me and was like, you're allowed to take tips, yeah? You're allowed to accept tips? And he just started taking cash out of his wallet. And I was like, you don't have to do that, you're fine. But I was like, okay, wow, late 30s. All right, like I guess sometimes maybe I'm just like a millennial.
It's not that you look older, it's the way you carry yourself.
You know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say, like, if I ever see that guy, I'm gonna be like this.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
Like Steve looks like he's 16, but
That's not fair, man. I got asked that too, and I was like, yeah, I'm 18. ID, please. I was like, I'm 36, man. Come on, leave me
36.
alone.
You are
It's
old.
not fair.
Well, yeah, it's been a long time, but I still get carded. My sister's, she's older than me, but she looks like 16. And she would always get upset that she gets carded and I don't, even though I'm younger. But yeah, it's funny how that works, like the boomer/millennial thing.
We're getting old, guys. We're getting old.
Yeah, maybe that'll be another topic for another day, like how different generations collect.
Boomers versus
All these topics for other days. We don't even have one for tonight. Yeah, you do.
Nah, man, it
Start
was
writing
great.
them down. We might forget.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. The
Forget.
boomer mind. The boomer mind. No, but yeah. So John, forgot what we were talking about. How about you, Sean John?
Sean John. No, I don't have anything, man. I'm good.
Awesome. And Cece?
I'm good. I think this is a good topic, even though John forgot what it was. It's been a rough
Oh, you're
day.
happy? Yeah. Wow, we got trained.
Like,
We got
this-
derailed.
This is Pepsi. There should be bourbon in this, but there's not. So
Next week.
I'm still very proud of us. Yeah, I'll save that for next
Pepsi?
week.
It has to be Coke. Oh my god.
There you go. We all need a drink.
To teach
We
these
all need
kids.
a
Listen,
drink next
sponsor,
show.
like it's Taco Bell. They don't have the license for Coke.
Oh my god, Taco
Yeah.
Bell, even worse. To clog the arteries. Coke is
She
over.
started
Cece.
the whole episode with saying she finished 5 tacos in 10 minutes, I think.
Or how dare you?
Or-
Wow. You're worse than the pilot. Get your wallet.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
I'm like, don't be setting up unrealistic expectations. Like I can eat 5 tacos in a minute. I eat more. Like,
Man, I should end it right now. I'm sorry.
What's going on, Lex?
But Sean John, Cece, thank you guys again. That was a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot funnier than I thought it was gonna be. But you guys,
It's not supposed to mean a lot funnier. Like we're the best panel members you can have
no,
on here.
I thought this topic was gonna make everyone like whatever go south. What makes you happy? It's like I'm not happy. Like I'm not happy enough. I need more. But
I don't have what I want.
yeah, that's what I thought everyone was gonna talk about. But we'll continue this next week or any day you guys want. But thanks again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow on Statue Tuesday. So, John, you're on tonight for unboxing.
We're doing an unboxing. Cece's going to be doing a nice unboxing.
Yeah.
Yep.
In
I gotta grab this 30-pound box out of my car.
1 hour, right?
1 hour.
Yes.
Okay.
5 minutes.
All right. Yeah. Everyone, jump over to
Collecting
Weekly. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. All right, you guys. Have a good night. Peace.